I would like to take this time to welcome you here today to celebrate the 50th anniversary of Der Gorun Shurikin's ordination as a priest in the Armenian Church. 50 years ago, Pilag Shurikin pledged himself to serve God in the Armenian Church. Many people will speak today of Der Gorun's service to this church and nation. Many of you can also attest to your personal recollections of what this man has meant to you. I feel that in celebrations of this type, we are also meant to look forward and to what an individual has left to offer. To this, I say that there is a wealth of wisdom and learning that Der Gorun must continue to pass on to those that he is closest. We must also recognize that we are not just here for Der Gorun, but also for Yeretzkin Arpina. After all, when a community receives a priest, they also receive the family of that priest. I can tell you that when Granite City and Detroit received Der Gorun, they received not only a dynamic priest, but an equally dynamic Yeretzkin. I have been so fortunate to have seen this in both communities that Deadheart has served. I have seen the leadership that Deadheart and Yeretzkin have provided and benefited from it as well as we all have. When the word Yeretzkin is used, there should be a picture of Yeretzkin Arpina by it, for she should be the standard that all of the Yeretzkin should be measured.
On behalf of the pastor and the board of trustees and the entire St. Sarkis Armenian Apostolic Church, it's my honor and privilege to convey to you, Der Gorun, our most sincere and heartfelt congratulations on this most memorable occasion, your 50th commemoration of priesthood. Your 50 years, many of them were spent in this church, in this community. And you and St. Sarkis will always be intertwined and part of our history and our people and our community. However, I would also be remiss if I didn't say something about Yeretzkin. She must have been a tower of strength and continues to be so too today. I know she is a pillar of strength to our church and community throughout the years, and we thank her for that. You continue to be an asset to our church and our community, and an ever-presence within our church and community life. I think there is no such thing as a retired clergyman in our church, because all of the retired clergymen either that are able to do and can do are either doing outreach programs for our churches, or as in Der Gorun's, he's always here when he's able to participate in whatever it may be that we need him. So we thank you very much for that. We continue to look forward to being with you here at St. Sarkis, and thank you very much for all of your efforts throughout the years. And God bless you and your family.
I come today to bring you messages from a couple of different groups, so indulge me as I work through the pieces. On behalf of the executive and religious councils and the staff of the prelacy, we want to congratulate Der Gorun on this, the 50th anniversary of his ordination. Deadheart, your service to God, our nation, and the prelacy will always be thought of as exemplary in all ways. Der Gorun is one of those gold standards that young priests are held to as Deadheart. His faith, selfless service, and love for the Armenian Church helped make him a very effective servant of God. The life of a priest includes his family, and especially his Yeretzkin. Like a hand in glove, they work together in serving the community. As a young boy growing up under their care and guidance, a disapproving look from either Deadheart or Yeretzkin was enough to correct our actions. That still works today, by the way. It's not just as a young boy. The love, care, and teaching they provided helped develop new generations of Armenian Christians for our church. Deadheart and Yeretzkin, thank you for all you have done for your parishes, your parishioners, and the prelacy. Congratulations. Der Gorun, I bring the messages and greetings and warmest thoughts from Der Serop Azarian, the Board of Trustees, and all the parishioners of St. Gregory the Illuminator, Armenian Apostolic Church in Granite City. Our parish was lucky enough to welcome a young deadhead and his family many years ago to our community. We would be his first parish. This young man brought to our community a vitality and a host of new ideas. He started our Mr. and Mrs. Club, started our church bulletin, started a church youth group for our young teens, and began a training program for young altar boys and acolytes. He and Yeditskin, as Michael said, were our Armenian school teachers. And they developed a talented group of teachers and were responsible for our Sunday school. His faith and service to our parish and parishioners is still talked about by those who remember fondly the time that Der Gorun and his family spent with us. We want to congratulate you on 50 years of service to God and our people, and want to thank you for all you did for St. Gregory's.
Dear friends, we have come here to honor someone who has shared his life and ministry for the past 50 years, whose ministry has generated a lot of compassion, love, service, goodness to all of us. My association and friendship with the Derhair and Yeretskin goes back at least 31 years ago. Before then, of course, Derhair lived in Kesab for a little while, but at that time I was a teenager. I don't remember him, but I know him well for the last 31 years, and I want to share some of my impressions about him. He has impressed me as a man of integrity, as a man of honesty. He is straightforward. You know where you stand with the Derhair. He doesn't play politics. I know him as a man of intellect, as a scholar. I have read many of his articles, and I have read his dissertation and have utilized some sources from that dissertation. He has a brilliant mind, and this community was really very fortunate in having a Derhair of this caliber. I know him as a man who is a good steward in the biblical sense of the word. He gave his time, his talent, he gave of himself generously, magnanimously, and so beautifully, graciously to this community. It is said that there are three kinds of givers in this world. There is the flint, there is the sponge, and there is the honeycomb. To get something from a flint, you have to hammer it. To get something from a sponge, you have to squeeze it. But the honeycomb overflows with its sweetness. For 50 years, Derhair has given as a honeycomb, given his sweetness to the communities that he served. I also want to mention that Derhair is a very ecumenical person. Ecumenicity doesn't mean that we compromise our views, our theological positions. It doesn't mean uniformity. It doesn't mean unanimity. It means that we don't need to play the same game together. We don't need to think alike, act alike, feel alike. But it means to embrace another Christian brother in love, and in spite of all the differences, could really sit down and have fellowship. And Derhair has been that kind of a person. I also consider Derhair a very fortunate man. He is a family man, and I must say that Yeretskin, Arpine, and he are a good team, have always been a good team. And I'm very proud of their children too. Moses, I know, follows in the footsteps of his father and grandfather. I'm sure that Ani and Diruhi do the same wherever they are. This is wonderful. Derhar, you are a gift to the Armenian Church. You are a gift, you have been a gift to this community. We are very proud of you and we congratulate you. Derhar իրավես մենք վարդ ենք ձեր ծառայություններով, ձեր կյանքը համակ նվիրում, համակ սեր եւ համակ ծառայություն եղած է։ Աստված ցեզի արևշադություն տա եւ քաչարող կյանք։ Շնորհակալություն։
I'm going to ask Lorik Pilabosyan and Vartu Karadolian to come up here. I think they have something that they want to make a presentation for.
Արժանապատիվ դոկտոր Der Gorun ավակ Քահանա Շիրիկյան։ Այս քրությամբ կուզենք փոխանցել դրոներության վարժարանից պատգան մարմիններու եւ միավորներու խնամակալության ծնողած խորհրդին եւ շրջանավարտից միության, ինչպես նաեւ ուսուցչագազմին եւ աշակերտության սրդական շնորհավորություններն ու բարեմաղթություններն ծեր քահանայական սերնատության ու ասկային ծառայության 50-ամյակի արդիվ։ Երախտաբար ենք եւ հբարտ ծեր օրինագով եւ կվստահեցնենք, որ ծեր ծառայության վաստակը սերունդներու մեջ պիտի բազմապատկվի։ Ցեզի կմաղթենք առողջություն, անսպար կյանք, քոհունակություն եւ երջանկություն, հարկանքներով Արմեն Թաշյան դնորեն ասկային Քալուս Գուլբենկյան երկրորդական վարժարան անջատ։
Presented to Archpriest Dr. Gorun Shrikian on the occasion of the 50th anniversary of your ordination to the priesthood by the members of the Musaler Charitable Foundation of Michigan. God bless you, dear Gorun. You are a credit to the Armenian nation and to all Anjartis. November 19, 2006.
I wish to speak on behalf of the Armenian Community Center, the ARF Azadamar Gomida, the ARS Mid-Council and their 5 sister chapters, the Hamaskayan Cultural Association, the Hominid Men of Detroit, and the AYF Senior and Junior chapters, in congratulating Der Gorun on his 50th anniversary into the priesthood. Deadhars come into communities and represent not only the church that they serve, but the entire community in which they live. Some Deadhars do this in a positive way and make the whole community theirs. Der Gorun went way beyond that, and the center and their organizations are grateful for that service. But service is a word that implies work. I think duty may be a more operative word here. Deadhar's commitment to the center and the affiliated organizations of the center never wavered and to this day remains strong. I can honestly say that Deadhar's teachings in the ARS Day School, his lecturing to the Hamaskain, his dedication to the youth of the Hominid Men and the AYF, and his inspiring leadership in helping to pay the mortgage of the ACC have shown that he is a community leader and has the passion for the Armenian nation as a whole. And for that, Deadhar, we of the ACC and its organizations congratulate you and thank you.
November 11th is the most important day of my life. It is the day that my father was ordained, and it is my wife's birthday. And trust me, I hear about it every November 11th. I leave town to deer hunt on November 12th because I can't stand November 11th because they both tell me how grateful I should be, because my father tells me how grateful I should be because he's my father, and my wife tells me how grateful I am because I should be because she's my wife. But I truly am. Now, I want to use this opportunity to correct a few things. Okay. Oh, Der Gorun, you're so nice. He's so quiet. He's the most easygoing man I've ever seen. Oh, come on, folks. First of all, the day that my father told my uncle that he wanted to go into the ministry was the luckiest day for the Turks. Because had my father not been a priest, he would have been a fedai. He would have been a man of God or a terrorist. Let the truth come out. I have told he taught me everything that he knows. He taught me how to shoot, he taught me how to ride, he taught me how to be self-sufficient. I have told my wife many a times, if anything ever happens to you, it happens to my children, that it'll be the worst day in the world for the Turks. Because I will have nothing to lose. And I think that my father understands that. Michael, you reminded me of a story about Armenian school. Let me tell you about, you think it's bad to be at Armenian school with Dedhide and Yeditskin? Well, when they're Dedhide and Yeditskin are your parents, you don't even know how bad it is. I mean, let me convey the story. I'm sure my father will deny it, but it doesn't matter because let the truth be told today. I had a little attitude problem as a child. I didn't want to do anything that anybody told me, and it was just it was a matter of authority. I wasn't too comfortable with authority. My mother, every Saturday during recess at Armenian school, used to send me into my father's office to be beat. And it was because I'm sure it was because I did something. I don't deny that. So one day I walked into my father's office. He had that small office over there in the corner. And he grabs me by the arm and he smacks me upside the head. And then he says something derogatory about my heritage. And then he says to me, well, what did you do? I said, I didn't do anything today. Mom asked me to come in here and get you. And then he says, fine, that's what you're gonna do. Heidik, Mom, Maidik, I always call her Mom. That's because she is. We love you. We're proud of you. The both of you, we realize what sacrifices you had to make to be part of this community, to have chosen the profession that you did. But on behalf of myself and my sisters, not one day did the sacrifices that you made ever come upon us. We never missed one day of love from you. We never regret anything that you ever did. Somehow, if there was a lack of time, it was out of your time, not out of our time as your children. We love you, we appreciate that, and we know that you will be around for, even though Heidik, I know you say you don't want to live to be 110, even though I do, we wait for the next 50 years.
At this time, I'd like to invite Archbishop Oshagan Chiloyan, Prelate of the Eastern Diocese of the Armenian Apostolic Church, for his remarks and also a presentation. Sir Pazanhai.
First of all, I want to greet my Hokevoriach pioneer, my brothers in Christ, and everybody here as dear brothers and sisters. I want to describe Arcana, Der Gorun, in 4 categories according to his relationship, his character, his being, because in that case, maybe I'll be clearer in characterizing who is Der Gorun. Der Gorun is an Armenian. He was born an Armenian in the mountain of Musaler. And just imagine an Armenian guy born in his homeland on the mountains, clear and clean. Everything is very genuine for him. The relatives, the family, friends, and free in those mountains. He was Armenian there, the real Armenian, who knew the strength of the land and who knew also the inspiration of the land. So Der Gorun was born as an Armenian with all our expectations, with all our visions, with all our heritage. And starting as a child in Musaler, unfortunately, he went through the tormented path of our nation. But wherever he went, he was an Armenian, and he remained Armenian. So as an Armenian, I have seen Der Gorun, who grew up physically strong, mentally strong, and spiritually rich. This is how Der Gorun, as an Armenian, grew up. And this is how he served in his community in Ainjar, elsewhere, as a layman, with Homenat men, with Hayrabogan Tashnaksutyun, with everybody. And he was proud because he was serving his nation. And this is the backbone of our existence. Secondly, it happened that I knew him later on as a clergyman. The best thing in this world for a clergyman is to serve God and his nation. The first part is easy, because to serve the Armenian nation is the hard part. But as a clergyman, girded by the commandments of our Lord, you came to our people here in America. As a clergyman, you enriched yourself with the basic education and knowledge of our church history, of our theology, of our rituals. You came here and became a member of the intellectual Kahanites which we had, and you are among the first who decided to go to the highest education. And for this one, it needs endurance, patience, and love towards education. He was a member of our religious council of the prelacy. And when he was serving there, he noticed that we need Christian education. And for Christian education, we need tools. And this is how he started writing booklets, instructing people, young people, in order to learn about our church, about how to stay and sing in our church. He was a clergyman because he was a son of a clergyman. He was grown up in an atmosphere in the family where Der Narek and Der Gorun followed our tradition. Most said this is not something that they are saying you have to be a priest. No. This is the Armenian tradition of our villages in Armenia. And this is why when we ordain a kahana in the past, he has to have a son, offspring, before being ordained. That was the tradition. So you are born in that family, and I'm sure that your father, blessed memory, Der Moses, was a typical kahana, high kahana. He had the heart of a priest, the dedication of a priest, the faith in Christ, which is more important than anything else. And that faith he gave to you, to Der Narek and to you. So as the second person I know in you is the clergyman. The third person is, I know him as a father and as a husband to our Yeretskin. Today we are celebrating also the 50th anniversary of Yeretskin, because the moment he was ordained, Yeretskin was ordained. So together, I think that you had the vision and the dream to bring our people who were under your care in Granite City or here in Detroit, to make them a real family. First of all, as I said in the church, the spiritual church, when everybody is feeling as brothers and sisters. This is the most important part, and you did that. Secondly, you devoted most of your time to bring together all these people who belong to the Armenian church, to teach them the language, the history, and to be proud to be an Armenian. This comes from the family, from your education, because you saw that in the mountains of Musaler. You saw that in your family with their Moses and Yeretskin. You saw that with your brothers, and also in exile in Anjar, which is typically a unique village in our diaspora. Anjar is somehow Hyrenic, because it is totally populated by Armenian people. The only place maybe in the world outside of Armenia where we have totally Armenian populated village. And this was your homeland too. So that to be a family father in that region, you were inspired by them, and you shared the love that you had in that family to your families, to Yeretskin, to your daughters and son, and your grandchildren. And when I was thinking to characterize Der Gorun as the fourth point, I said, what? You said the father, you said an Armenian, you said the clergyman. What remains Der Hayr? And I love this one in Der Hayr. Der Hayr is a mart, is a real human being. Before everything, everybody of us should be a human being. Գշնորհավոր եմ քեզ, աղոթելով որ Աստված քեզի Շրիկյան ընտանիքին, ամբողջ Քերթաստանին առողջություն, հաջողություն եւ երկար կյանք տա։ Եվ հիշեցեք սիրելիներ, դուք Շրիկյան ընտանիք եք, եւ հայում ամենամեծ բադիվը իր ընտանիքին անունը բարձր բահելն է։ Դեր եղեք այդ ընտանիքին անունին։ Եվ այն ադենք հաջողիկ։ Դեր Հայրը դված է ջադիգա դուք ալ ծեր հաջորդ սերունդներուն։ Շնորհակալություն Դեր Հայր, շնորհավորություն դերս։
At this time, Der Hayr, the floor is yours.
I love God and I love passionately my nation. That was unusual. And Moses was right too. Well, still I love guns. But I love the Bible too. Kind of revantieret, the both the cross, and also he was at the battlefield with warriors that defended our faith. First of all, I would like, these are words of thanks actually, I'm going to say it. I would like to thank the Almighty God that gave me long life enough to be able to come to this day to celebrate my 50th anniversary with you. Also, I would like to thank my beloved church and the hierarchy of the church. I thought I was worthy to be a servant in the church. And also I would like to thank my parishioners, both in Grand City and here, that you gave me the opportunity to serve you and to love you and to become part of you, part of your family. So this is my immediate family, but you are my extended family, and I love you all. Remember what Lincoln said, malice toward none and charity for all. Yes, no malice in my heart toward none in this community, and love I have for all. Yes, sometimes in the ministry you'll have bad moments and they don't listen to me well, but sometimes you ignore it, sometimes you try to quiet it down, other times you say, this is the way it is not my principle, is the principle of the church, is the tradition of the church, so you're gonna do it this way. Like Sir President Hayr mentioned, a firm father, a strict father, is not a bad father. Now sometimes it happens that too, but not necessarily. So that's why I observe the tradition of the church. When I was ordained with my dear brothers, their Musha and their Simpad, we took an oath to keep the tradition of the church intact. They didn't give us leeway of compromising things. When we were born as an Armenian, so there was nothing to compromise there either. There is nothing like half Armenian. There is nothing like a half faithful. Either you are this or you are that. So you have to decide. And of course the minister's job is to make you decide that course and stay on that course. And in doing it, like I said before, it was not easy all the time, but who said the ministry is easy? My brother mentioned already to you how I felt about priesthood, and I asked him if I can do it because he was doing it already. But my inspiration, Akhbar, Der Narek, didn't come from my father. And I won't lie to you, didn't come a call from God. I went to the seminary, they couldn't convince me to become a clergyman. But my brother did. Not by preaching to me, but his life example convinced me, persuaded me to become a clergyman. I never told him that, but I'm telling that to him and to you all. I don't know how much proud he can be of me, but I'm very, very proud of him. Always I called him an Akhbar. I said it with respect, with awe. Although he's little older than me and looks younger than me. But always I loved, respected him, and he was an inspiration to me all the time since we were children. Even he became an inspiration to me as a clergyman. So I followed his path. Well, I would like to thank all my family members for supporting me in my ministry. Even the grandchildren, not only the children, because I feel so proud that my grandchildren are here all the time. Well, this is an occasion I would thank also everyone, although you were thanked, but not by me. All the helpers, committee members, and especially you, that you are here today. Otherwise, I would have been here and talking into the air. It's my 50th anniversary. I would like to celebrate it, but without you, I would have said one or two things, but not this long, of course. So to conclude, I'll say, Sir President, thank you, not one time. I multiply that in many times, and also my thanks to Archbishop Khajak Serpazan and Archbishop Moshe Martirosyan. I said Khajak because he's my friend, so the Hagopian, that's the prelate of Canada, and the other is the prelate of Western Diocese. And my, of course, thanks and many, many thanks to our beloved Vehapar for his Gontag. I belong to the Gilligian or diocese. I'm a Gilligetsi. And I love the Gilligian, the Cilician Catholicosate. My allegiance is to the Cilician Catholicosate. Yes, we are all Armenians, but historically somehow we developed two Catholicosate. A nation for political reasons was divided. I'm not talking about division in our mind and heart. I'm talking a division, administrative division. And my allegiance goes to the Cilician Catholicosate and will stay there. I was born there, I was raised there, I was instructed there, I preached there, and it's going to stay there. And I'll say, let's continue that, because the Cilician Catholicosate played a big role in preservation of our nation, as much as the Echmiazin Catholicosate did. So let's give respect to both of them. Also, I would like to thank my Ozagis brother, Der Moshe, for being here, took the trouble of flying and coming here. You know, nowadays, so bad it is to fly from one place to other. I haven't been flying for the last 4 years because I feel kind of insulted when they tell me to take your shoes off. Nobody told me that before. Okay? I don't want to do it. I'm a hello boy, and I go, well, I feel like one. I'm not anymore. I cannot afford to be something like that, but still, I feel it that way. Whatever. No matter what I say now, always I'm going to miss something, to later on say, I wish I said this, I said that. But if I didn't, in your mind, accepted that I did. So, as a minister, therefore, many, many blessings to you and to the coming generation of this and other Armenian communities throughout the world. Thank you again.